It started as just another morning along the United States and Mexico border until military intelligence flagged a cartel convoy, more than 150 fighters armed and advancing just 3 miles from American soil. Within hours, 3,000 troops scrambled to intercept what would become one of the largest standoffs in border history. How did an ordinary surveillance alert escalate into a full-scale battlefield? And what hidden threats forced authorities to unleash this unprecedented response? At 5:16 a.m., the first encrypted radio intercept came through. Short bursts of Spanish, a call sign, and then a string of coordinates. An intelligence operations officer watched the live drone feed as heat signatures clustered in a dusty clearing 3 miles south of the border. The convoy was unmistakable. Armored trucks with reinforced grills, pickup beds packed with men in tactical vests, and 2 flatbeds carrying what looked like heavy weapon mounts. Signal intercepts confirmed chatter about a breach, with references to La Frontera and coded instructions relayed between spotters and the main column. Within minutes, the operations center lit up. Analysts flagged the movement, cross-referencing thermal images and intercepted messages. The officer relayed the findings up the chain, voice steady but urgent. This was not a routine smuggling run. The scale, the firepower, the coordination all pointed to a deliberate push. The moment demanded a response far beyond the usual patrols. Convoy orders came down just after sunrise. Within minutes, the main gate at Fort Bliss swung open for a line of military trucks stretching half a mile. Soldiers in full gear loaded into up-armored Humvees, striker vehicles, and troop carriers, their faces set and silent. The Joint Task Force Southern Border Command element activated a multi-pronged surge, directing columns toward 3 staging zones along the Texas and Arizona sectors. Black Hawk helicopters lifted off in staggered waves, ferrying rapid response teams to forward positions closest to the suspected breach points. Logistics officers coordinated fuel and ammunition resupply, while mobile command posts set up satellite links for real-time updates. On the ground, engineers reinforced checkpoints and laid out barriers, while surveillance teams launched additional drones to map the terrain ahead. By late morning, nearly 3,000 troops had fanned out across the border's most vulnerable stretches, each unit awaiting the next set of orders as the threat drew closer. Engines roared as cartel trucks and all-terrain vehicles surged out of the brush, closing the final distance to the border fence. The first shots cracked through the morning haze, automatic fire rattling from pickup beds, bullets tearing into steel barriers and scattering dirt. U.S. soldiers dropped behind concrete barricades, returning fire in short, controlled bursts. A company commander, radio pressed to his ear, barked orders over the chaos, trying to track positions as dust clouds swallowed the sight lines. Across the sector, outposts reported incoming fire and called for backup. The cartel convoy pressed hard, pushing 2 armored trucks through a breached section of fence. Gunfire echoed in every direction, punctuated by the thud of heavier weapons from mounted platforms. Amid the confusion, infantry squads shifted to cover exposed flanks, moving between vehicles and shallow trenches. The air filled with shouted commands, engine noise, and the relentless staccato of rifle fire as both sides fought for control of the crossing. The armored platoon leader scanned the digital map, watching red icons flicker near a dry arroyo just east of the main breach. Drone operators relayed heat signatures, clusters of cartel fighters ducking into brush, trying to outflank the forward line. Orders snapped over the communications, pivot the striker column, seal the gap before the convoy could slip through. Within minutes, 8-wheeled vehicles thundered across broken ground, maneuvering into a loose crescent that cut off escape routes. Drones hovered overhead, streaming thermal feeds to both the armored crews and command. One operator marked enemy positions in real time, guiding turret gunners as they swept the brush with suppressive fire. The pincer closed fast. Cartel trucks tried to reverse, but the avenue had narrowed to a kill box. The line began to break, fighters abandoning vehicles, stumbling over rocks, scattering into the open. Radios crackled with confirmation. The bypass was cut, and the cartel's momentum shattered. As the last gunshots faded, logistics teams moved in to secure the battlefield. Soldiers fanned out, cataloging abandoned cartel vehicles, pickup trucks pocked with bullet holes, all-terrain vehicles left in the brush, and 2 armored transports with shattered windshields. Inside the beds and cabs, they found crates of rifles, boxes of ammunition, and several makeshift explosives. Evidence teams weighed and logged the haul, hundreds of kilograms of narcotics packed in false compartments, tactical vests, encrypted radios, and scattered bundles of cash. Each discovery was tagged and loaded onto military transport. The scale of the seizure was underscored by the sheer number of impounded vehicles and the volume of weapons stacked for inventory. Near the battered fence line, a patrol stumbled onto a concrete slab, oddly out of place among the churned earth and tire tracks. Underneath, engineers uncovered a narrow shaft reinforced with steel and lined with wiring, an active smuggling tunnel stretching north. Inside, agents found duffel bags of cash, crates of weapons, and a stack of encrypted radios left behind in the rush. Within hours, teams from the Drug Enforcement Administration, the FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security arrived, cordoning off the site and launching a joint investigation. The discovery pointed to a larger trafficking network, shifting the response from a military operation to a federal case with national implications. Troops and federal agents worked together to secure and catalog the material, loading seized cash, weapons, and communications equipment onto transport for forensic analysis. Today, border militarization keeps escalating while cartels adapt, building new tunnels and tactics. The line between law enforcement and warfare blurs, and the next clash may come with even higher stakes.